je serai en face de Dieu et qu'il me demandera pourquoi j'ai tué un de ces trop rares miracles sur terre. Qu'est-ce que je vais lui dire?
Hey, what up, y'all? Today we're going to be talking about The Crow, starring Bill Skarsgård and F.K. Twig. Now, one thing that I want to say about it is that chemistry between Bill Skarsgård and F.K. Twig was on fire. There was a vibe to that shit that I was vibing with. I'm like, yo, man, there's a chemistry, a romantic chemistry between those two that is just fire. And, you know, I want to say this. It was a good film. It wasn't great, but it was a good film. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of comparisons, and there already has been comparisons, to the original great film that no one will ever surpass, is the great Brandon Lee's film, The Crow. No one will ever do it. No one will outdo Bruce Lee's son's movie. You know what I'm saying? No doubt outdo him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll say this, for Bill Skarsgård's movie, I liked the connection. I felt like what was keeping that movie alive to me was just the fact that the romantic chemistry and connection between those two, and the fact that they walked us through their relationship while at the same time getting them to the Crow. And now aesthetically, I kind of had a problem with it at first because it had like a Jared Leto kind of jokery vibe, but honestly I forgave that because it didn't have no gangster rap kind of vibe with like the gold teeth and shit. It didn't have that. It just felt like that was his real style in life, where he just had tattoos and shit. So it didn't bother me when I saw the film, and it just felt like it was just part of who he was. It was just his character. And so aesthetically, it did not look to me like The Crow, but at the same time, it didn't bother me. I feel like they could have done a little bit more with the design as far as to when he came back as The Crow. But at the same time, it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, it was more about what will the story give me? Will the story be convincing? Will the story pop out to me? And to a degree, it did. I thought the violence was a lot more gruesome. It definitely gave you some ooh kind of moments, you know what I'm saying, where you're just looking at the screen like, oh shit, just split his mouth in half, oh god, you know what I'm saying. Had that kind of vibe to it. But at the same time, it's like the original may not have been as gruesome, but it was violent. It was beautiful violent, you know what I'm saying. Whereas this one was just like John Wick violent, and had that kind of vibe to it, which they brought it with the violence. They aesthetically, I thought it was cool. I thought there was too much explanation as far as to Eric Draven finding out as to how he was able to be the Crow, and there was a man that would speak to him. Spoiler warning, but it just is what it is. I'm letting you know now. There was a man that would speak to him and basically tell him about like how and why he's able to do all this, and I didn't care for that. I'm like, you don't need a human really to explain all this shit. He could have had a spiritual bird telling him all this, kind of like the Sandman. You know, in Sandman you got what's his name? Can't think of Drew Carey's friend, the comedian Patton Oswalt, playing the character of the Crow. That follows Sandman around. Like, I kind of would have had that vibe to it, where it's like, this is the reason why all this shit's happening. We carry souls, kind of, you know what I mean? But they didn't go that route. I thought that was a little weak. I didn't necessarily need to see a man handling that business. But at the same, less is more. There's more of a mystery when I'm not being explained all of it. You get what I'm saying? But also another element that's missing, because I know I'm taking from the original film. In the original film, Eric Draven had a ghostly vibe to him a little bit. And I feel like it may have been because of the actual death of Brandon Lee, where they kind of had to edit a few shots and things because of his death. But it made it a little eerie, made it a little mysterious. You know what I mean? It made it more ghostly versus just him always talking and communicating with everybody. That was a serious element for The Crow. And that was missing in this movie. I didn't always need talking points. I didn't always need, a revenge thriller kind of vibe. It could have been just a little bit on the more off, mysterious, ghost-like vibe. Because in essence, The Crow is kind of a ghost. Like he's got that vibe to him, and that's what was missing in this film. And also, I feel like their biggest mistake was going with the Eric Draven storyline, whereas they could have went with somebody else that became the Crow, and I would have left Brandon Lee's story as canon. Like, it's happened, it's in the storyline, and oh my god, if they did it that way, I promise you the fans and everybody else would have been like, oh, I'm forgiving that, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I know in my heart of hearts, like me talking as a fan, I know in my heart of hearts, I know no one is ever going to beat Brandon Lee's The Crow. Like, I don't care who or what you do. That's like, it's almost like trying to do an Enter the Dragon film without Bruce Lee. It's not going to be successful. So why not, if you're going to extend that universe of Enter the Dragon, you're not going to focus on Mr. Lee. You're just going to focus on another talented martial artist that so happens to go to some Han Island and handle the shit that way. Like, that would have been more respectable. You get what I'm saying? At least metaphorically for The Crow. So, yeah, but that's my thoughts on the film. I think if you remove things and you somewhat forgive the idea of them using Eric Draven, I think you guys will dig this movie. It's good, it's decent. It's not that shitty tomato meter conversation of 22 or 23%. They're just shitting on it because of what they had seen before. And it's understandable. I know why James O'Barr doesn't like it. I know why the original director of The Crow doesn't like it. Because, come on now, they brought it. They brought that shit. They got down with the original movie. They got down with the comics. So this one doesn't get down like that. But at the same time, it's not something to shit on for me. You know what I mean? But anyway, those are my 2 cents. Let me get your comments on this shit. I want to know what you guys think as far as to once you actually see this movie. And let me know what y'all think. I'm really curious of what your ideas are on this movie. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe for you.